feeling that. I just got my hip hop beats going. I don't know. I don't know if they're even hip hop beats. It's a mood, and I like it. I'm here for it. Um, yeah. So this is the second time I'm doing this, I guess. I don't know. I just had so much fun last time. Uh, like, not fun. What's the right word? Let me think. It's not. I mean, yeah, it was fun, but it was like more cathartic, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like I said last time, I enjoyed just like kind of talking into the ether. Like, I don't expect anybody to ever talk back or anything, but get those unprofessional noises in here. I don't know. It was just kind of relaxing. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it again for the shits and giggles. Let me see. So no one has traversed Cat Everest yet. I've got one down here, and like I think maybe one over there somewhere. I can't see them. They are all over the place. Like I'm not. Let's say that like I have a multitude of cats. I have three in total. All of which are my babies, and I just found them at random times throughout my stay in China. Like all of them. When I was outside walking one day, I'd hear like a little. I'd be like, oh no, there's a kitten in danger. And then I just took them home, and yeah, they've been with me ever since. Because, like, shelters are not a thing here. Not at all. If you see an animal and it's in distress, like, your only options are take it to a vet and have to pay, like, oh, there she goes. Come on, Sophie, climb Cat Everest. Come on. There she goes. She's traversing the mountain. Yay, baby girl. So, cats, man, they're so distracting, even if they're not really doing anything. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She's looking right at me. But yeah, like your only options are take it to a vet and pay like whatever kind of vet bill or anything. And then if you want to like have the vet keep it, then you would have to pay like per day, every day that the animal is at the vet. So other than that, your options are just to leave the animal wherever it is. So that it's just, to be honest, it's one of the things that bothers me about Chinese culture currently. Is like the younger generation is getting better. The younger generation is like, hey, animals are not just things. They're like have personalities and they deserve to be treated kindly and like all this kind of stuff. But I've noticed that like among the older generation, it's kind of like, well, animal's an animal and it's like whatever, like, you know. And so like I'm a part of a lot of rescue groups here, and one of our biggest issues is that when we do come across an animal that does need help or like that does need rescuing, like they're in a terrible situation, we have no legal standing because there are no animal protection laws whatsoever. Like in the US, that's what I'm familiar with. In the US, it's like, you know, there's animal cruelty laws, and, you know, you can't treat an animal a certain way, and you have to provide, you know, certain accommodations, and, like, leash laws, and, like, all this kind of other, like, dog registration, all this stuff, right? But here, there's none of that. So, if we do need to rescue an animal from, like, a terrible situation, the only thing we can really do is try to get them on, like, abuse of property or like stolen property, or like for example, what was it, like last year they were rescuing a group, not a group but like a truck full of dogs, and like the rescuers were basically pushing the police saying like, hey, these dogs have collars on them, they probably belong to people, therefore they are stolen property, and that is illegal. It's illegal to steal property. And also like they tried to slap on like, hey, they're not following like food and safety regulations. If these animals are going to be used for food, then like they're not being transported properly, and like health code standards and all this kind of stuff. So like you can get them on other things, but you can't get them on like actual animal cruelty. That's just not a thing here yet. They're working on it. It might take a while. Oh god, I hate that I just started off with that. Like, okay, so dogs and the eating of dogs. I get this question all the time. that I in China from like friends and families abroad, they'll always be like, do they eat dogs over there? Yes. The answer, short answer is yes, but, and this is a big but because it's like not everyone here eats dogs, okay? It's only a very specific region of China. It's like if you go down the coast, about halfway down the coast, around the middle part area, that is the region that still predominantly eats dogs, and that is the region that is known for having like the dog meat festival every year and like all the crazy things you see in other like videos and such. So that one small part of China, yes, that is where they eat dogs. In most other places, look, eating a dog, like specifically raising a dog to be killed and eaten, or like stealing someone else's dog to be eaten and stuff, is highly looked down upon. Like especially in the bigger cities, so like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, where else? Like Hong Kong, like all the bigger cities. Like people are like, no, this is not okay. Like, a dog is not a food. But it's just in that one particular region where they still, yes, do consume dogs. So, like, there. Answer that question. And now that I think about it, I hate that I used that example. But it was the one that came to mind. So, yeah, well, get that out of the way now. But yeah, so those are my three little munchkins. She is successfully on top of Cat Everest, looking very, very comfortable. Hey, Sophie girl. But I love my little babies. They spark joy. Oh yeah, he's down here. He's asleep. So, I guess I should say their names. So there's Sophie, Toby, and Lori. Yes, I gave them all E names. It honestly wasn't on purpose until after the second one when I found my third one. I was like, well, the other two are E's, so I need to come up with another E name to I don't know, like complete the set or whatever. Gee, I don't know. No, people like it. I haven't given all of them Chinese names yet. Like, technically they are Chinese. Like, I like to think of myself as, like, I've adopted 3 Chinese kids. So, like, only Sophie has a Chinese name. Her name is Xiaofang. And Toby, I don't know. I try not to, like, what is it called? There's a technical term for it, but I don't remember it. Where it's like you take a person's name and you just change the syllables, like the actual sound of the name, and you put them into, like, you try to match the sound with Chinese characters that sound the same way. So like for example, Mark will become Ma Ke, or something like that. Or Lori would be Lori, or like something like that. I don't know. But I don't like that. I really want English and Chinese are two completely different languages, two separate things. So, like, trying to keep the sound from one in the sound for another just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't feel right, alright? Like, it's a completely different language, so just have a completely different thing going. Like, that's fine. And so, like me, my Chinese name Ma, like my last name is Horse, and then Shu Fang, like that sounds nothing like my English name whatsoever. And all my friends call me Fang Fang for short. So, and I'm fine with that. Like, that's my name. I like my name. I like what it means. And that's another thing. Like, when it comes to getting a Chinese names are very, very heavy on meaning. Like, parents will agonize for a long time over what they're going to name their kid because it needs to sound right. But not only that, the characters need to look right together, and it needs to be balanced. Like, you can't have this character be like more heavy than like this character, and then you have to make sure that, like, I don't know, it's aesthetically balanced, I guess. Like, I have a friend of mine, his Chinese name, what is his full Chinese name? It's like, I know his last name is, I don't know its last name. It means, I think it means cloud. But like basically, one of his characters in his name means cloud, the other one means sky, and like the last one means like something related to earth, okay? And so when people like see his name, some people go like, "Oh, your name is just it's too high. It's too high. Like two characters in your name have to deal with like the sky. It's no, your name needs to be balanced and like, so that kind of thing. It has to be like aesthetically balanced as well. So yeah, like you can't do that if you just take like your English name and take the sounds and then just use Chinese characters for it. Yes, it makes it easier for you to remember what your name is in Chinese, but at the same time you're losing like a lot of that. Kind of like a lot of the beauty of the language, you know? Like a lot of the aesthetic and a lot of the kind of personality that can come out in a name. So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of that. But I lucked out because my Chinese teacher gave me a very nice Chinese name. I enjoy it. Every time, like especially older Chinese men, when they like I have to write my name down on some document or something, and they'll look at it and be like, hmm, your Ming's I'm like, thank you. Yeah, I think so too. So yeah. So oh yeah, no. Speaking of older Chinese men, oh god, this is not going where you think it's going. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But older Chinese men are the best and the worst and the best at the same time. They like so it depends on where they're from, right? So older Chinese men that have lived in the city like their whole life, like a big city like Beijing, right? They tend to be just like the most laid back people you have ever met. Like ridiculously so. And like, drugs here are illegal. Like you're not going to find people smoking weed or like doing other kind of illicit drugs. So it's not drugs. It's just they're like that laid back. And now that I actually am living here for a long period of time, it makes sense because when I was in college, doing my degree, I had a professor that lived like maybe 30 years in China. And this was like right after China opened up, like right after Nixon went over, So, and he was just one of the most laid back, relaxed people I have ever met. Shout out to you, Professor Bender. I miss you. But yeah, like I was like, man, this guy must be smoking the good stuff. Like, I did. I genuinely thought he was like high all the time because nothing, and I mean nothing, phased this man. Nothing. Like, he was with me when I came to China for the first time, and like we were on a bus, right? And we were driving along, and the bus decides to, I don't know which way you can see it, but the bus decides to like veer into the oncoming traffic lane to try to get around a car. As so, as he does this as another car, or, no, he wasn't even another car, another bus is approaching us. And so, like, of course, all of us little American children are scared to death. Even some of the local students that were on the bus were like, ah, like as we came closer and the driver just like zoomed over like at the last second. But the entire time, Professor Bender was just sitting there just like, like it's just like it's like nearly car crashing into another car. Just like we're just like, it's fine. Yeah, it's it. Whatever. Like so, but now I get it. Now that I have lived here for an extended period of time, I understand. Like you just probably hung out with a bunch of old Chinese dudes, cause like nothing phases these guys, and then they'll just be outside like. I'm guessing they're retired. Sophie, get off the plastic bag. It's making noise. Oh well, there goes your free ASMR. But it's like they'll be outside and they're retired, so they have nothing else to do. So they'll either be outside dancing, they're outside singing, playing instruments, or like doing a wide variety of other like activities. God, it sounds sexual. It's not. Okay, activities. What do I mean? Like playing with whips. This still sounds sexual. But it's true. Like they'll have like these whips and like you hear them because it'd be like whoop, you hear the whoosh, and I'm like, oh okay, there's some old guys over that way playing with whips. And they'll like have the whip and like to me they look like dreidels. the ones that they being, Jewish people, they break out for Hanukkah. In me, it looks like a dreidel. And so what they'll do is they'll use the whip to like whip the dreidel so that it starts to spin. And I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool. Like it's really cool to watch. Um, yeah, so they're out there playing with whips. Like, it's like how did this develop as a pastime in China? Like, I really want to know. And not only that, they're like super friendly. Like, I'll walk by because I just want to watch them like play with whips. I don't know what that says about me. No, it doesn't say anything weird about me. Thank you very much. It's actually really cool to watch. So I'll just sit there and I'll watch them. They'll be like, "Hi, you want to try it?" I'm like, "No, no, no, I can't." They're like, "No, come on over, come on over." They give me the whip and they're like, "Yeah, you just go like this." And I'm just like, "I suck at this. I do." I the hand motion. No, it's not even in the wrist. It's like the whole arm got to get in there. It's good exercise. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It's good exercise for your arm. Um, but yeah, like, and then, or they're just outside, just like singing. Like, old Chinese guys love to just randomly burst into song. like, like I'll be at a park, right? And there's an old guy, Chinese guy sitting there. He's just sitting on the bench. Like, he'll just be humming something. All of a sudden, be like, "No, go away!" And I'm like, "What the fuck? What?" Like, like he'll just randomly belt out like part of the song and then go back. And keep in mind, there's no headphones, there's no like phone or anything. He's just, that song is going in his head, and on now parts that he really likes, he just goes full in and just sings it out loud. And I don't know why, but I really love it. I like, because no matter how long I'm here, it still takes me by surprise, because they'll just be like, "Yes, and I'm like, what?" No, I love, and they do it all the time. It's not even just like at the park. It's like when they're walking down the street. I hear it. Like, they'll be riding a bike, and I'll be riding past an old man, and he'll just be, "No!" Like, he'll just break out into his song, whatever kind of song he's singing at the moment, and I freaking love it so much. Like, it's actually helped me to become a lot less conscious about other people, because I'm like, well, if the old Chinese guys can do it, like, if they can sing like whatever song pops up into their mind, well, hell, I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, shit, I have caught myself a couple of times just like walking around, and I'm just like, "Hey," and they, just go full in on the part that you like, why not? Why not? The old Chinese guys can do it. I can do it too. I don't care. So, God, this is gonna seem really sexist, but like, no, it's not, because I remembered something. Because I was like, I've been talking all this time about old Chinese guys. Just makes me sound like either A, a pervert, or B, like I'm ragging on them, but I'm not. I really do enjoy them. But then there's like, no, I'm not talking about the older Chinese ladies. And I was like, well, they don't do anything. Yes, they do. They dance. They dance a lot. So here they're called the dancing Aiyis. And Aiyi is like auntie in Chinese. So, like, God, I love them too. So yeah, like, retired older ladies just in the park. And they are legit about this too. Like, they bring in their sound systems that are on like this rolly cart, like just a speaker like taped to a cart, and they'll bring that over, and like, all the songs kind of sound the same. They all have the same beat. Like, that's the beat for a lot of these songs. And then they'll like arrange themselves into rows, and then they'll just be out there doing dancing. Like, they like, and so, like, I love it so much, because I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, dance. It's great exercise. It's great community experience. Like, you guys all meet up at whatever time. Like, I know there's a group there's actually a group that way and then a group that way. this group that's over that way, they meet at like 8 o'clock in the morning every day. Every day they're out there. Winter, summer, spring. I think the only time they're not out there if it's raining. That's it. And they're just like out there dancing all the time. And then there's the group over there is at night, so it's weird. I didn't notice that until just now. I've got a group in the morning, and then I got a group at night that's out there, doing their little dances to the songs that all sound the same. But yeah, and I'm not even gonna lie. A couple times I join in. I'm just like, you know what? You guys are out here. I like this particular dance you're doing. I'm gonna join in, do my little like I can do it too. Like, why the hell not? And they usually get a kick out of it. They're like, oh yeah, look at the foreigner. Oh yeah, you dance really well. Oh yay, good job. And I'm like, thank you. Like, this dance isn't hard. I mean, but they're sweet. They are sweet. So on this tangent that turned into a talk about the elderly in China, I don't know. Like I said, this is all random. I don't plan what I'm gonna talk about. I just sit down and fucking just go for it, I guess. But so yeah, the Chinese elderly and pets. Like, that's what's on my mind today. So let's see. Let's try to make this a bit deeper. Why? Why are the Chinese elderly on my mind? Just because they're chill. Yeah, they're chill, and maybe I one day aspire to have that level of chill, because I'm not. I'm not that chill at all. I mean, it's not like I'm manic or anything, but I have a lot I have to do, and I have a lot I have to think about, and like blah. Like, I don't know, if I could just go outside and do dancing all day, I would. Or play with my whip. Because then I say that, and then my mind immediately was like, well, you can play with a whip. And I'm like, shut up, shut up. No. No. Like, you don't have to wait till you're elderly to do that. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. So, on that note, that glorious note, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Just, Chinese elderly are cool. They're chill. Pets are awesome. Would like more animal protection laws. They're coming. Hopefully. We'll see. Keep fingers crossed. But that is all. And yeah, that's my rant for today. Oh well. And yeah, loud mouse time.